Hello everyone. Today we will talk about the article named Chimpanzees, Warfare and the Invention of Peace, written by Michael L. Wilson. We will examine the evidence for chimpanzee warlike behavior and talk about what these discoveries can teach us about human conflicts. Beginning with a review of the behavioral ecology of aggression, we will go on to a look at the behavioral ecology of chimpanzee intergroup hostility, and we will end by talking about the implications for understanding the causes of war and the chances for peace among humans. So, let's start with the behavioral ecology of aggression and challenges the notion that biological explanations for human behavior are overly simplistic and uniform. It emphasizes that organisms, including humans, have evolved to adaptively respond to various environmental contexts. The central hypothesis of behavioral ecology is that organisms seek to maximize their inclusive fitness by responding adaptively to their environment, which includes interactions with others of the same species. Aggression viewed in the context of natural selection is seen as a strategy that animals employ when the benefits outweigh the costs in the terms of inclusive fitness. This involves factors like resource access, energy expenditure, and the risk of injury or death. Animals typically prefer to avoid direct fights and use threat displays instead. Fatal fights may occur in specific situations, such as when a resource is highly valuable or when individuals don't expect to live long. Animals selectively use aggression, escalating to damaging fights only when necessary and when they perceive a reasonable chance of winning. Factors influencing fight outcomes include the relative competitive ability of opponents, size, weaponry, group size, motivation, and the value of resource at stake. This perspective aligns with the principles of behavioral ecology, where aggression is viewed as an evolved strategic option. And now we can explore the behavioral ecology of intergroup aggression in chimpanzees. In the following sections, we will review three parts. First, patterns of intergroup interaction. Second, the frequency of intergroup killing. And lastly, ultimate causes of intergroup aggression and proximate causes affecting rates of intergroup aggression. Patterns of intergroup interaction. Chimpanzees live in groups called communities, which can consist of more than 150 individuals, but typically number around 40. Male chimpanzees usually remain in their birth communities for life, while females typically emigrate to other communities at sexual maturity to avoid inbreeding. Female chimpanzees occupy large home ranges which vary in size depending on the habitat. Males generally have larger home ranges than females, and females may concentrate their ranging in their core areas. Early observers initially believed that chimpanzees had fluid and open communities separated only by geographical boundaries. However, it was later recognized that chimpanzees live in distinct social groups with social and territorial boundaries. Adult males conduct boundary patrols along the periphery of their range, searching for signs of neighbors or encroachment. These patrols impose time, energy, and opportunity costs, but are important for defending territories. Due to their low population density and range concentration, encounters between neighboring chimpanzee groups are infrequent. Encounters often involve acoustic contact through vocalizations like panthoots. Attacks on neighboring chimpanzee groups are more likely to occur when attackers encounter lone victims or isolate individuals from their group. Adult and adolescent males are the primary aggressors. Attacks can be severe, involving biting, kicking, and other forms of violence, sometimes leading to injury or death, which I can put a photo for that. They are so unseeable. Attacks on females with infants may result in the killing of both the mother and the infants. Attackers may bite and consume the infant, treating it like prey. In some cases, female may also participate in attacks on other females. Intergroup interactions often involve shouting matches, but close-range encounters can escalate to physical violence, with injuries and fatalities occurring. Killings usually occur when attackers encounter lone victims or isolate from their group. The frequency and the intensity of inter-community aggression vary among chimpanzee communities, with some exhibiting frequent boundary patrols and others rarely engaging in such behavior. Frequency of intergroup killing. Interspecific aggression, including killings, is a pervasive risk for chimpanzees. The majority of the documented killings involve intergroup attacks, suggesting that intergroup killing is a widespread trait among chimpanzees rather than an isolated phenomenon at specific study sites. To assess the significance of interspecific killings, the article compares rates of mortality from interspecific violence among chimpanzees with data from human societies. The analysis takes into account both the number of killings observed and the population size and the observation time. When populated size and observation time are considered, chimpanzees experience a rate of interspecific killing that is similar in magnitude to that of subsistence level human societies and much higher than industrialized democracies. For instance, it's 6 times higher than the homicide rate in one of the most violent cities in the United States, which is surprisingly. While only a small population of intergroup encounters result in killings, interspecific aggression can lead to a significant proportion of mortality among chimpanzees. In some cases, interspecific aggression was the second leading cause of death following disease. Comparisons with the data from human hunter-gatherer societies indicate that violence among these groups caused a similar proportion of deaths as among chimpanzees. For example, violence among Australian hunter-gatherers caused from 10% to 30% of adult male deaths. In contrast, the proportion of deaths caused by warfare in global human population during the 20th century was estimated to be less than 1%, highlighting the relatively high rate of interspecific aggression among the chimpanzees. So what is the causes of intergroup aggression? There are two causes, ultimate cause and proximate cause. Let's look at them. Ultimate causes addresses the question of why animals behave in a certain way. In the case of intergroup aggression in chimpanzees, ultimate questions revolve around whether such behavior increases an individual's number of direct or indirect descendants. Male chimpanzees engage in intergroup aggression for several potential benefits, including defending group territories, excluding outside males from mating with resident females, recruiting new females to their community, competing for feeding territories, and protecting themselves, mates, and offsprings. Proximate causes focus on how animals behave in a certain way, considering factors such as physiology and environment. Factors influencing intergroup aggression in chimpanzees include numerical asymmetries, ecological factors like food availability and distribution, and human impacts like provisioning and habitat change. Food resources can attract chimpanzees from neighboring groups to the same area, leading to intergroup interactions. Intergroup encounters are more likely to occur in border areas where abundant food resources are located. Contrary to human patterns of intergroup aggression in chimpanzees seem to result from resource abundance rather than scarcity. The article addresses the influence of human activities such as provisioning on chimpanzee behavior. Provisioning did have unintended consequences, such as increasing aggression among chimpanzees. Some researchers initially argued that aggression in chimpanzees resulted from human influence, but subsequent long-term studies have shown that many behaviors observed in provisioned groups are also found in unprovisioned wild chimpanzee populations. The impact of human activities such as habitat conservation, poaching, and disease transmission on chimpanzee aggression is also discussed. Chimpanzee behavior may not align with preconceptions of what is normal or benevolent. Chimpanzees can engage in aggressive behaviors, including attacks on females and young, which may not conform to idealized views of their behaviors. And let's look at all of the mix of the chimpanzees, human, and the invention of the peace. The male chimpanzees are known to engage in territorial and warlike behavior, particularly when it comes to defending their access to feeding territories. This behavior is not limited to physical combat, but also acts of aggression and competition. The article highlights that this behavior can lead to evolutionary advantages, as males who successfully protect and expand their groups' territory are likely to have more offspring and reproducing kin. Let's delve into a long-standing debate regarding the origins of warfare in human evolution. On one side, some scholars argue that warfare has ancient roots, possibly dating back to common ancestors of human and chimpanzees. This perspective suggests that warlike tendencies may be deeply ingrained in our evolutionary history. On the other side, there is the argument that warfare might have evolved separately in the two lineages for similar reasons. Interestingly, warlike behavior in chimpanzees shares striking parallels with the warfare in small-scale, non-scale human societies. This suggests that similar ecological factors and social dynamics might underlie intergroup conflicts in both chimpanzees and early humans. The article draws a distinction between war as a potentially ancient behavior and peace as an achievement. It likens this contrast to the evolution of language and writing. While warlike tendencies might be deeply rooted, achieving and maintaining peace requires conscious effort and social development. These are several factors that can influence the prevalence of war and peace in human societies. These include the costs and benefits of war, the presence of powerful weapons, and the role of trade. Notably, it suggests that trade can serve as an alternative to warfare by allowing societies to access valuable resources peacefully. Promoting peace is not only desirable but also achievable. It points to factors that contribute to peaceful societies, such as democratic governance, contract-intensive economies, and the rule of law. These factors align national policies with the interests of the majority of citizens and provide opportunities for individuals to benefit from cooperation rather than conflict. Importantly, understanding biological and ecological factors that contribute to war does not mean that war is inevitable. Instead, it suggests that this understanding can inform efforts to prevent conflicts by addressing the underlying causes and promoting conditions conducive to peace. In summary, the article provides a thought-provoking examination of the relationship between chimpanzee behavior and the origins of warfare in human societies, and the potential pathways to achieving and maintaining peace. It highlights the complex interplay of biological, ecological, and social factors in shaping human conflicts and cooperation. Thank you for listening.